Do you remember spring break in St. George? 95.9 The Hawk is celebrating playing 30 years of classic rock for Southern Utah. And over those 30 years, Southern Utah has changed quite a bit, and we've got an interesting history as well. So today, we're on St. George Boulevard with the question, do you remember spring break in St. George? Through the 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s, St. George was one of the spots for spring break. The entire state of Utah all had spring break at the same time. And apparently everybody from up north came to little old sleepy St. George. When I was researching to do this video, there's not a whole lot of information online about some of the things that went down here in St. George. I do know that one of the epicenters was St. George Boulevard. People would cruise up and down and hang out at places like where we are right now, what used to be Larson's Frost Stop. Some of my favorite things that I found when I was researching doing this video about spring break in St. George is one of the sayings that they use. They even made t-shirts out of it. Go there on vacation, come back on probation. It was even called the Mormon Mardi Gras. And one of the things I did find was an article with the Spectrum newspaper, and the headline said, Sodom and Gomorrah? No, just spring break. Spring break in St. George kind of reached its peak in the mid-90s. MTV ranked it in the top 3 of the best places to go for spring break. And apparently sometime around 1994, there was nearly a riot with fights breaking out at the Dixie Center, the Dixie Sun Bowl. Apparently it was just crazy. That was spring break in St. George. In the early 2000s, spring breaks started to be staggered different times throughout the state and throughout the country. They put in the median in St. George Boulevard, and right about 2004 to 2005, spring break in St. George was basically done. Every single person I asked that actually attended some of these spring break festivities always kind of gives me a little grin like, yeah, I was there. And that's pretty much all the record we have, because any pictures or any evidence of any of this stuff from the 80s, the 90s, and early 2000s are probably in shoeboxes in the back of people's closets that will never be seen again. But you guys will all have those memories. Did you go to spring break in St. George? Please comment below. I would love to know. And that's another episode of Do You Remember with 95.9 The Hawk. Big old shout out to McMullen Injury Law for helping us celebrate our 30th anniversary. If you're ever hurt in an accident, remember McMullen Injury Law. Never settle for less. Again, comment below if you ever went to spring break in St. George and you have other ideas for what we call Do You Remember from 95.9 The Hawk.